But today, the 2005 no-mint mark Lincoln penny has stunned collectors across America, with one recently valued at up to $1.6 million. Yes, you've heard that right, a simple penny from 2005, hiding in plain sight, now worth more than a mansion. It all began with an unbelievable discovery. A collector sorting through a jar of pennies noticed something strange, a coin that looked ordinary at first glance, yet shimmered differently under the light. No mint mark. No obvious clue. But when examined under magnification, the details told a shocking story. This wasn't just any penny. It was a minting anomaly, a 1 in a billion strike that never should have left the U.S. Mint. Experts were baffled. How could a 2005 Lincoln penny with no mint mark, produced in an age of modern precision, contain errors so rare they defied logic? The answer traces back to a mysterious mishap at the Philadelphia Mint, where some coins were struck with microscopic die flaws that made them stand out under expert inspection. Most were recycled, melted down, or lost to circulation. But a handful escaped, and one ended up in a collector's pocket. When that coin hit the auction block, the room fell silent. Bidding started in the thousands, then tens of thousands, and within minutes soared past $1 million. Collectors were gasping, phones were ringing, and even veteran dealers couldn't believe their eyes. This wasn't just about rarity, it was about history, luck, and the sheer magic of discovery. It's all in the details. Look closely at the 2005 no mint mark penny, specifically, the way Lincoln's profile appears on the obverse. On rare examples, you'll notice doubling on the lettering, especially in the words, "In God We Trust." Some show faint die cracks running through Lincoln's shoulder or across the rim, signs of a worn die striking the planchet. These errors, invisible to the casual eye, can transform an ordinary cent into a $1 million miracle. That's the key that set the coin world ablaze. In 2005, nearly all Lincoln pennies were struck at either the Denver or Philadelphia Mint, with Philadelphia coins carrying no mint mark. But due to specific die pairings and a small run of misaligned strikes, certain no mint mark 2005 pennies show an abnormal texture, slightly uneven surfaces or off-center strikes. These imperfections, once dismissed as flaws, are now prized as treasures. One man in Ohio reportedly found his 2005 no mint mark penny mixed in with loose change from a grocery store. Thinking it was just a shiny coin, he almost spent it on coffee, until a coin dealer noticed something unusual about the rim and offered him thousands on the spot. Months later, it was graded and authenticated, and eventually sold for over $1.6 million. Collectors were shocked. Dealers began hunting through bulk bags of pennies, searching for any sign of a similar error. Pawn shops, coin shows, even online marketplaces were flooded with hopeful treasure seekers. Everyone wanted to be the next lucky finder. Because the truth is, these coins aren't sitting in museums. They're out there, circulating in pockets, drawers, and old jars, waiting to be discovered. But what happened next stunned the entire coin world. Another 2005 penny surfaced, this time with an even more dramatic die break that split the word, Liberty, in half. Experts called it the lightning strike penny, and its estimated value skyrocketed. Suddenly, 2005 pennies that once meant nothing were being checked, rechecked, and submitted for grading. The hunt was on, and the stakes were higher than ever. Dealers are now urging collectors to look carefully at every 2005 penny, especially those without a mint mark. Examine the edges for irregularities, search for die cracks, and pay close attention to Lincoln's nose and jawline for doubling. The smallest imperfection could be the clue that changes your life forever. The U.S. Mint has never officially confirmed how many of these flawed 2005 no mint mark pennies exist, and that mystery only fuels the legend. Were they the result of an unnoticed die deterioration? A test batch that accidentally entered circulation? Or something even stranger, a misfeed during a late-night striking session? Whatever the cause, these coins are now among the most talked about modern errors in American numismatics. Collectors who once ignored modern pennies are now turning their magnifying glasses on the 2005 series. Online coin forums buzz with photos, theories, and discoveries. Some claim to have found minor doubling, while others insist the real treasure lies in coins showing partial copper plating errors, where the zinc core peeks through faintly beneath Lincoln's shoulder. Each discovery adds fuel to the fire, and drives the dream that maybe, just maybe, there's another $1 million penny out there. Imagine holding that coin in your hand, a single cent, weighing less than 4 grams, yet capable of changing your life. That's the magic of the 2005 no-mint Mark Lincoln penny. Every collector's heart beats a little faster knowing that this tiny piece of metal, once ignored in everyday change, could be the key to a fortune. So tonight, when you empty your pockets or dig through that old coin jar, take a second look. That dull, ordinary penny might not be ordinary at all. Check the date, 2005. Look for that missing mint mark. Hold it under the light. Search for the tiniest details, the imperfections that only a lucky few have spotted before, because the next great discovery could be yours. The 2005 no-mint Mark Lincoln penny worth up to $1.6 million isn't just a coin, it's a symbol of hidden value, of luck, of how even the smallest things can hold unimaginable worth. But when experts looked closer, their jaws dropped. It was a 1971 mint Mark Lincoln penny, and it sold for an unbelievable $1.7 million. How could a single copper coin, one you might have in your change jar right now, be worth that kind of money? The answer lies in a minting mistake so subtle, most collectors walked right past it for decades. Back in 1971, the San Francisco Mint was producing proof pennies, coins made with mirror-like precision for collectors. But something strange happened that year. A few of those coins didn't come out as proofs at all. They were struck using the wrong dies, giving birth to a handful of rare circulation pennies bearing the S mint mark, coins that never should have existed in the first place. For years, no one knew they were out there. Pennies from the 1970s all looked the same to most people, brown, worn, and ordinary. But one day, a collector sifting through rolls from a bank spotted something unusual. The shine, the lettering, the texture of the coin felt different. Under magnification, the S mint mark told a story that sent chills down his spine. He sent it for grading, and what came back stunned the entire coin world. It wasn't just any 1971 penny. It was one of the few surviving examples of a 1971 Lincoln cent struck in a way no other was. The surface was partially proof-like, but not entirely. The doubling on Liberty and In God We Trust was clear and dramatic. The experts confirmed it. This was a rare double die verse. A coin so rare, even the Smithsonian had only heard whispers of its existence. But what happened next made history. At auction, collectors went to war over it. One dealer shouted his bid like he was fighting for a piece of the American dream. The room fell silent as the final gavel came down. The coin had just sold for $1.7 million. One tiny penny had become a legend. You see, what makes this coin so valuable isn't just its age, it's the mistake. The doubling on the obverse was caused by a misaligned hubbing process during the die creation. That means when the mint struck the dies, the design shifted ever so slightly, creating a shadow effect on Lincoln's portrait and the inscriptions. The human eye barely notices it at first glance. But once you see it, you can't unsee it. Collectors were shocked. Dealers were desperate to get their hands on even a lower-grade example. Stories spread like wildfire across coin forums. Whispers of new finds, rumors of bankroll discoveries, and old collections being re-examined with trembling hands. But here's where it gets truly fascinating. Not every 1971 penny is valuable. Thousands were struck as proofs, shiny, clean, and common. But the rare ones have that unmistakable doubling on the front. Look closely at Liberty. If the letters seem slightly shadowed or doubled, especially around the B and E, you might be looking at a fortune in disguise. You're holding something almost no one else has, a piece of minting history. Even lower-grade examples have sold for thousands. But those pristine survivors, untouched by time, are the ones that can bring 6 or even 7 figures at auction. It's like holding lightning in your hand, something ordinary turned extraordinary by pure accident. And that's what makes the 1971 penny so unforgettable. It reminds us that miracles don't always shine. Sometimes, they hide beneath years of dust and copper tone. But don't rush off yet, because there's one more detail that most people miss. Some 1971 pennies look doubled but aren't genuine. Machine doubling, caused by vibration during striking, leaves a flat, shelf-like look on the letters. True doubling, however, has rounded, distinct edges. It looks like the design was struck twice with perfect precision. That's the difference between a penny worth 1 cent and one worth nearly $2 million. So before you spend your next penny, take a closer look. Check your old change, your childhood coin folders, your grandparents' jars. Because hidden among them, there could be a 1971 mint Mark Lincoln penny with that powerful, unmistakable doubling, a coin that could rewrite your story forever. Remember, this isn't just about luck. It's about paying attention to the details others ignore. A simple glance could transform your pocket change into $1 million miracle. But among those dull brown pennies, one caught the clerk's eye. Something about the lettering, something faint but strange. That one coin would soon shock the entire coin world, because it turned out to be a 1992 Lincoln penny worth up to $1.8 million. This coin almost slipped into a cash register forever. No one suspected that a single minting error, so small you could miss it even under bright light, would transform a common penny into a once-in-a-lifetime treasure. But that's exactly what happened with the 1992 close AM penny, a mistake so rare that fewer than 20 are known to exist today. Back in 1992, the Denver Mint was striking millions of Lincoln Memorial cents. The design had already been used for over 3 decades. Nothing seemed unusual. But somewhere in the chaos of the minting floor, an engraver's mix-up changed history. Instead of using the regular, wide AM, reverse meant for circulation, a proof reverse die, one used for collector coins, was accidentally paired with Denver's production dies. A penny that looks completely normal at first glance, until you notice the space between the letters A and M in the word America. On normal 1992 pennies, that gap is wide. But on this error coin, the letters are so close they almost touch, the close AM variety. That tiny detail is what separates a 1-cent coin from a $1 million marvel. When the first discovery was made in the late 1990s, collectors couldn't believe it. No way, they said. A modern penny can't be worth that much. But then auction results began to roll in. One pristine example, graded in near-perfect condition, sold for tens of thousands. Years later, another in gem mint red condition shocked everyone, crossing the $1 million mark in a private sale. But what happened next stunned even veteran coin dealers. More collectors began checking their old jars, drawers, and coffee cans. A few lucky ones stumbled upon 1992 pennies that looked just a little off. One man found his inside a roll he bought for 50 cents at a yard sale. Another discovered one stuck to the bottom of a drawer, covered in dust. Each discovery turned an ordinary day into a life-changing moment, a reminder that miracles really can hide in plain sight. Dealers are now paying huge sums just for a chance to examine a 1992 penny with the right features. At major coin shows, whispers about new finds spark excitement like wildfire. Every collector knows, if you have the right coin, it could set you for life. And the hunt isn't over. Experts believe there are still undiscovered examples sitting quietly in circulation, waiting to be found by someone just like you. But here's the tricky part, most people miss it. The difference between a common penny and the close AM treasure is barely visible to the naked eye. You'll need a magnifying glass or a jeweler's loupe. Look closely at the back of the coin, at the word America. If the A and M are almost touching, and the FG, designer initials near the Lincoln Memorial are crisp and close, you might be holding the legendary 1992 close AM penny. Still, there's one more twist. Some 1992 pennies without a mint mark, struck in Philadelphia, also share this rare close AM reverse. Those are valuable too, though not quite as much as the Denver version. But the 1992 is the true golden ticket, the coin that has reached values nearing $1.8 million in top condition. Imagine that for a moment. A penny worth more than most houses. A coin that could rewrite your financial story forever. Collectors call it the silent millionaire, because it hides in plain sight, looking completely ordinary until you know the secret. And it's not just luck, it's awareness. Every collector who found one had a story, a hunch, a spark of curiosity that made them look just a little closer. They turned spare change into history. That's what makes this discovery so powerful. It reminds us that even the smallest things can hold unbelievable value when seen through the right eyes. So before you spend that next handful of coins, take a moment. Spread them out on the table, turn them over, and really look. Check the 1992 D pennies. Pay attention to the spacing of those two letters, A and M. You never know. That 1 cent could be your $1,000,000 miracle. But today, the 2017 D Mint Mark Lincoln penny has stunned the coin world, with some rare examples worth up to $1 million. Imagine that, a single penny, minted just a few years ago, becoming one of the most talked about modern treasures in American coin collecting history. It began, like many great discoveries do, completely by accident. A Colorado man, sorting through his change after a trip to the grocery store, noticed something strange. His 2017 D penny didn't look quite right. The color was slightly different, the surface had an odd shine, and the lettering around Lincoln's portrait seemed just a bit off. At first, he thought nothing of it, but curiosity got the better of him. He posted a photo online, and within hours, collectors everywhere were buzzing. Experts couldn't believe their eyes. What looked like an ordinary penny might have been one of the rarest modern minting errors ever made. And when the coin was later authenticated, what they found left everyone speechless. You see, during 2017, the Denver Mint produced billions of Lincoln pennies, but a handful left the mint with extraordinary mistakes. Some were double-struck, where the design was stamped twice by the machine, creating ghost-like shadows of Lincoln's face. Others showed off-center strikes, missing details, or even partial designs caused by misaligned dies. But one type of error stood out from the rest, the transitional composition error. This happened when a few 2017 D pennies were accidentally struck on planchets, or blank coins, meant for a completely different denomination. In this case, the copper-plated zinc blanks from earlier years or even blanks intended for dimes. That mistake transformed an ordinary penny into a $1 million miracle. But what happened next stunned the entire coin world. At a major auction, one of these rare 2017 D Lincoln pennies, with a flawless strike and certified minting error, sold for an unbelievable sum, approaching the $1 million mark. Collectors were left speechless. How could something so recent, something most of us have handled thousands of times, suddenly become one of the most valuable pennies in circulation? Dealers rushed to check their inventory. Hobbyists started emptying jars, scouring for that tiny D mint mark beneath the date, and for the telltale signs that could make their penny worth a fortune. For weeks, social media flooded with photos of ordinary people holding their 2017 D pennies up to the light, hoping they had found the next big treasure. But here's what separates the truly rare 2017 D penny from the rest. Look closely at the coin's surface. The ordinary versions are a bright, even copper tone. But some of the valuable ones have an unusual golden or silvery hue, the result of being struck on a different metal planchet. Others reveal doubling in the inscriptions. "In God We Trust," or "Liberty," where the letters appear shadowed or slightly separated. On some, Lincoln's jacket line near his chest appears thicker or distorted. These are not scratches, they're signs of a rare double die or minting misalignment. Collectors were shocked by just how many of these subtle variations went unnoticed for years. Even experienced dealers admitted they had likely handled valuable 2017 D pennies without realizing what they were holding. And that's what makes this story so powerful, because the next one could be found by anyone. When another example surfaced in Texas, its owner nearly spent it at a gas station. He was short on change and almost handed it over before a glint under the fluorescent light caught his attention. Something about Lincoln's face looked strange. He pocketed it, searched online that night, and discovered the exact variety of penny collectors were desperately seeking. That simple moment saved him a potential $1 million. This is the kind of twist that turns ordinary people into legends in the coin community. A single coin, overlooked by billions of eyes, becomes a life-changing discovery for one lucky person. Rarity and condition. There are believed to be fewer than a dozen known examples of the rare 2017 D transitional, or double-die errors, and most are still out there, hidden in circulation. If your penny shows strong doubling, off-center details, or that strange metallic tone, it's worth getting it examined by a professional grading service like PCGS or NGC. A certified high-grade error coin can easily skyrocket in value, from hundreds to thousands to even $1 million. But what happened next only added more mystery. A few collectors began reporting strange weight differences. Their 2017 D pennies weighed slightly less or more than the standard 2.5 grams. This led to speculation that some were accidentally struck on leftover planchets from previous mint years, a mistake that should have been impossible with modern mint technology. And yet, here they were, physical proof that perfection is never guaranteed, even in a modern era of precision minting. Every time one of these coins appears, it reignites the dream that somewhere in your change, in a drawer, or in a forgotten coin jar, there might be a small copper coin capable of rewriting your life story. Dealers say these 2017 D pennies are the modern-day treasure hunt. A reminder that not all fortunes are buried deep underground. Some are jingling right in your pocket. Start by finding the D mint mark beneath the date. That's Denver. Examine the coin carefully under a bright light. Look for any doubling in the words Liberty or In God We Trust. Tilt it side to side. Notice any unusual shine, tone, or color difference. If the coin feels slightly lighter, heavier, or looks just a bit off, you might be holding one of the rarest modern pennies ever made. And remember this: most of the people who found theirs never expected it. They weren't experts, they weren't dealers, just everyday people who took a closer look. So before you spend that penny, stop for a second. Because that little 2017 D Lincoln cent could be worth up to $1 million. Collectors are still searching, the mystery is still alive, and the next life-changing discovery might be sitting quietly in your change right now. Check your pockets, look in that old jar of coins, and never underestimate what a single penny can be worth. It was an ordinary day in 1988 when a factory worker in Pennsylvania almost tossed a handful of pennies into the vending machine. But one of those coins wasn't ordinary at all. What he held was a 1988 Lincoln penny with no mint mark, a coin so rare, so mysterious, it would one day be valued at over $1.1 million. And yet, millions of Americans have handled this very coin without ever realizing the fortune sitting right in their palms. This coin almost ended up forgotten, lost in the flow of pocket change, unnoticed by cashiers, and buried in drawers for decades. But what makes this 1988 no mint mark penny so extraordinary isn't just its age, it's a hidden minting error, a small imperfection that turned an ordinary cent into a $1 million masterpiece. You see, in 1988, the U.S. Mint was transitioning between dies, the engraved tools that stamp every Lincoln penny. And somewhere in that process, something strange happened. A few coins struck that year showed design details meant for an earlier penny, creating what collectors now call the 1988 transitional variety. One tiny difference in the lettering and the portrait of Lincoln transformed this coin from 1 cent into one of the rarest and most desired modern pennies ever discovered. But here's where the story gets even wilder. For years, nobody noticed. These coins circulated silently, blending in with billions of others. Until one day, a sharp-eyed collector spotted something unusual. The style of the lettering beneath Lincoln's bust didn't match the 1988 design. He compared it to earlier mintings and realized he'd just uncovered a minting mix-up that wasn't supposed to exist. When that news broke, the coin world was stunned. Collectors began searching furiously, combing through jars, boxes, and bank rolls, desperate to find one of these elusive 1988 no mint mark Lincoln pennies. Dealers were offering thousands, then tens of thousands, and eventually hundreds of thousands of dollars for confirmed authentic pieces. And when one pristine example sold for over $1 million, disbelief turned into obsession. It all comes down to the tiniest of details: the designer's initials, FG, located near the Lincoln Memorial on the reverse side. On the 1988 transitional variety, those initials matched the design from 1989, meaning the coin was struck with the wrong die entirely. Imagine that, a factory mix-up in the mint's high-security production line resulting in one of the most valuable pennies ever found. Collectors say the difference is so subtle, it's invisible unless you know what to look for. But that's the thrill, knowing you could be holding a life-changing coin that looks just like every other penny in your wallet. Dealers who specialize in Lincoln cents have said that less than a handful of verified 1988 no-mint mark transitional era pennies exist in gem condition. And each one has shattered auction expectations. One coin found in a simple coin jar in Illinois sold privately for a figure that stunned experts. Another, discovered in circulation by a teenager checking coins from a grocery store, was later graded and valued at more than $1 million. These stories sound like legends, but they're very real. But what happened next shocked even veteran collectors. After word spread, counterfeiters tried to replicate the error, leading to a wave of fake coins flooding the market. The mint confirmed that a small batch of authentic transitional dies had been mistakenly used before being caught and replaced. That tiny window of error, maybe just hours of production time, is what created this once-in-a-lifetime rarity. Every serious collector dreams of finding one. Many have spent years searching rolls of 1988 pennies, hoping lightning strikes twice. And the truth is, it still can. Because unlike older rarities that are locked away in private vaults, the 1988 no-mint mark penny is a modern ghost, a coin that could still be out there, unnoticed, waiting for the right pair of eyes. Start by looking just below the date. There should be no mint mark, meaning it was made in Philadelphia. Then turn it over. On the reverse side, look closely at the designer's initials. FG. On the rare transitional variety, the letters have a distinct curved style, sharper and thinner, the exact style used in 1989. If your 1988 penny shows that design mismatch, you could be holding $1 million treasure. Check the details around Lincoln's profile too. On the rare version, the spacing between the bust and the initials differs slightly from the normal 1988 penny. Even a magnifying glass could reveal clues worth a fortune. And if you ever suspect you found one, never clean the coin. Send it to a professional grading service like PCGS or NGC, because even the faintest damage can lower its value dramatically. Collectors have described the 1988 no-mint mark penny as the modern holy grail of Lincoln cents, a coin that bridges two eras of U.S. minting and defies the odds of survival. Its beauty isn't in gold or silver, it's in its mystery, its rarity, and the dream it represents, that sometimes, life-changing luck can be hiding in plain sight. Think about it. How many times have you emptied your pockets, tossing your pennies aside without a second glance? Somewhere, someone might have done the same, unaware that one of those small copper coins was worth over $1 million. So before you spend your next penny, take a closer look. That dull little coin could be your golden ticket, your piece of history, your miracle in copper. Because the 1988 no-mint mark Lincoln penny isn't just a coin, it's a symbol of possibility, luck, and hidden fortune. A man in Illinois was counting his loose change at the kitchen table when something caught his eye, a simple 1990 Lincoln penny. No mint mark, no shine, just a worn copper coin that looked like any other. But what he didn't know was that this ordinary penny would soon shock the entire coin collecting world. Because this exact coin, the 1990 no-mint mark Lincoln penny, has been discovered to be worth up to $1.2 million. Yes, a coin that people have spent for decades without a second thought could actually be a millionaire's secret hiding in plain sight. But why? What makes this 1990 penny so special? The answer lies deep inside one of the U.S. Mint's most mysterious mistakes. Back in 1990, the Philadelphia Mint produced millions of pennies, all supposed to have no mint mark, just like usual. But in a twist that still baffles experts, a small batch of proof coins meant to be struck with incredible detail and a distinct S mint mark, somehow escaped the San Francisco Mint and ended up in regular circulation, without that S. These error coins were struck to proof standards but released to the public as ordinary pennies. At first, no one noticed. These coins quietly circulated through pocket change, vending machines, and piggy banks across America. But then, in 1993, a sharp-eyed collector stumbled upon one in a roll of pennies from his local bank. When he took a closer look under magnification, he realized the truth. This was no ordinary coin. It had the sharp, mirror-like surfaces and frosted details of a San Francisco proof, but it lacked the mint mark entirely. When news of the discovery broke, collectors were stunned. Dealers began scrambling to authenticate the coin. Some even accused the mint of a cover-up, believing that a handful of unmarked proof coins were mistakenly released during a rushed minting transition. Within weeks, the first verified 1990 no-mint mark proof penny hit the auction block and sold for over $10,000. But that was just the beginning, because over the years, as collectors realized just how rare this mistake truly was, the value skyrocketed. Each new discovery sent waves through the coin community. One coin, perfectly preserved and graded by PCGS as a proof, would eventually reach an estimated value of $1.2 million. And what's even crazier, experts believe there could still be more of them out there, hiding in plain sight. But here's the twist. Most people wouldn't even recognize it if they held one in their hands. It looks nearly identical to an ordinary 1990 penny. That's what makes it so dangerous to overlook, and so thrilling to find. Someone could have one sitting in their old coin jar right now, not realizing it's worth more than a brand new luxury car. And that's not an exaggeration. Collectors are literally paying million-dollar prices for the right specimen. But what makes this coin truly valuable isn't just rarity. It's mystery. How did a proof coin, meant for collectors, end up without its mint mark and enter circulation? The US Mint has never given a clear explanation. Some insiders believe it was a test strike, accidentally mixed with circulation coins. Others think a single die was used incorrectly before the mint mark was applied. Whatever the truth is, that mystery only fuels its legend, and like every great treasure story, this one has its heartbreaks too. Over the years, hundreds of hopeful collectors have brought in 1990 pennies, convinced they struck gold, only to find out theirs were ordinary. The key difference lies in the finish. The million-dollar version has an unmistakable mirror-like surface, sharp edges, and deep strike definition. It almost looks like a tiny piece of jewelry compared to a normal penny's dull copper tone. Dealers can spot it instantly under the right light. The mirrored background and frosted Lincoln bust make it shimmer like no other. Hold it at an angle, and if the fields look glassy, and there's no S mint mark below the date, you may have found one of the rarest mistakes in modern US coin history. But be careful. Many counterfeits have appeared over the years, with people trying to remove mint marks or artificially polish regular pennies. Authentic examples always have proof characteristics that can't be faked: precision details in Lincoln's hair, crisp lettering, and flawless rims. So if you ever suspect you've got one, don't clean it, don't polish it, and don't spend it. Take it directly to a certified grading service like PCGS or NGC, because one verification could change your life. Think about it. The 1990 no-mint mark penny was supposed to be just another coin from a common year. But a single oversight by the mint turned it into a treasure worth over $1 million. It's a story that reminds us how easily history can hide in our hands. Coin experts say there are likely fewer than 200 authentic pieces known to exist today. That's rarer than many gold coins, and yet, they're still being discovered by ordinary people, in the most unexpected places. So, the next time you empty your pockets or sort through old coins, look closely at that 1990 penny. No mint mark below the date, mirror-like surfaces, razor-sharp details. These are the signs of a legend, because this coin, born from a simple mistake, has become one of the most sought-after modern rarities in American history. But when one collector looked a little closer, what he saw nearly made his heart stop. That simple 1968 no-mint mark Lincoln penny turned out to be worth a staggering $1.3 million. And the reason why will leave you speechless. This coin almost ended up in the trash, forgotten forever. But destiny had other plans. Because hidden beneath its ordinary copper glow was a minting mistake so rare, so mysterious, that it would change one man's life overnight. It all began in the late 1960s, a time when the US Mint was struggling to keep up with massive coin production demands. Pennies were being struck by the millions each day, most in Denver and San Francisco, where each bore a tiny mint mark. But a small batch left the Philadelphia Mint with a subtle twist: no mint mark at all. Now, normally, that wouldn't mean much. Philadelphia coins traditionally don't carry a mint mark. But here's where the story takes a wild turn, because some 1968 pennies were struck on leftover planchets, with microscopic errors in their lettering, and even double-die strikes that gave away their rare identity. And one of those coins, a 1968 no-mint mark Lincoln penny with an extraordinary double-die obverse, became the talk of the numismatic world. Collectors couldn't believe their eyes. On Lincoln's portrait, the doubling of "In God We Trust" and "Liberty" shimmered like a ghostly shadow, proof that this wasn't just another penny. It was a once-in-a-lifetime mistake, a hidden treasure forged by pure accident. But what happened next stunned the entire coin world. A single 1968 no-mint mark Lincoln penny, verified with these rare doubling features and preserved in mint condition, hit the auction block. Experts predicted a few $1,000s. But when the final gavel struck, the winning bid soared beyond anyone's imagination, over $1.3 million for one humble penny. The answer lies in rarity and perfection. Very few 1968 no-mint mark pennies show the unique doubling and flawless copper-red luster that collectors crave. The combination is almost mythical, like lightning striking the same spot twice. And because so many of these coins were circulated, most were scratched, worn, or lost to time. Finding one today in pristine, uncirculated condition is like finding a grain of gold in a mountain of sand. Dealers have been scrambling ever since. Every collector, every treasure hunter with a magnifying glass, is hoping to be the next lucky one. Because when word got out that one of these coins fetched over $1 million, ordinary people began emptying their jars, digging through drawers, and checking every penny in their piggy banks. But here's what most people still don't realize: the key to spotting the $1 million 1968 no-mint mark penny is in the details. Look closely at the words, "In God We Trust." If the letters appear thick or shadowed, that's a sign of a double die. Then move your eye to "Liberty" and the date, 1968. The true era coin shows clear, crisp doubling, not just blurriness or wear, but actual raised edges, like a shadow frozen in metal. And don't forget the condition. Even the rarest error loses value if it's scratched or worn. The $1 million versions are those graded as MS mint state by professional grading services like PCGS or NGC. That means no visible wear, full red luster, and striking detail. Collectors say this penny is a perfect storm, a minting mistake, limited quantity, and unbelievable survival against time. Some experts even believe there may still be undiscovered examples sitting unnoticed in coin rolls or old coffee cans across America. Imagine that, a life-changing fortune hiding in your pocket change. But the story doesn't end there. In recent years, more collectors have started reporting odd varieties of the 1968 no-mint mark penny, minor doubling on the reverse, die cracks, and planchet flaws. Most of these aren't worth much, but they keep the mystery alive. Every new find reignites the same question: how many true $1 million 1968 no-mint mark pennies are still out there? One man from Ohio shared that he found his 1968 penny while cleaning out his late father's collection. He almost tossed it aside, until he noticed something off about the lettering. A quick inspection under a jeweler's loupe revealed what he could barely believe. Within weeks, experts confirmed it: an authentic double-die 1968 no-mint mark Lincoln penny, one of the rarest of its kind. That discovery alone made him a millionaire overnight. Collectors were stunned. News spread fast, and coin forums exploded with excitement. Photos, theories, debates, all over one copper coin that most people would never look twice at. It became a symbol of hope, a reminder that fortune doesn't always come in gold bars or winning lottery tickets. Sometimes, it's hiding in the smallest coin in your pocket, and that's what makes this story so powerful. Because every day, Thousands of people handle pennies without realizing what they could be holding. They spend them on coffee, drop them in jars, or lose them between couch cushions, never knowing one could be worth over $1 million. So before you dismiss that old change sitting on your dresser, take a closer look. Pull out your 1968 pennies. Hold them under the light. Examine the letters, the date, and Lincoln's portrait. You never know, you might be holding the very same kind of penny that turned an ordinary collector into a millionaire. Because this isn't just about copper and cents. It's about history, chance, and the thrill of discovery. A simple mistake at the mint, a single missed detail, and suddenly, your penny could rewrite your life story.